How you doing? It's random joy or joy randomly or just joy randomly coming to you. Today is day 3 of recording, and so far I've learned I need a microphone, and then I need the microphone to be close to me. So as I learn those things and I continue to record, bear with me, but also keep giving me tips, keep giving me feedback because this is a thing that's gonna be a permanent fix. Like I'm having so much fun. It's only day 3 and I'm already like going to sleep smiling, thinking about what I'm gonna talk about next. So let's get into it. I like to start off with talking about what's going on in our world. And that kind of helps me, get into some things that's just about me and get into some discussions that may benefit other people. So, the first thing I noticed today when I got up, dear Mr. Frankie Beverly passed away. Okay? When I say every cookout, every holiday, every good time should know Mr. Frankie and should know Frankie Beverly and Mays, those names together. Like, y'all, like, our people who are our cultural staples are passing away. We just had the loss of Rich Homie Quan, okay? Um, to me, his music is like you can't imagine the swag and surf era, the um the fun dancing in the club era without acknowledging Rich Homie Quan. Okay. And then now we got Mr. Frankie Beverly. Like I said, you can't acknowledge a holiday, a cookout, or anything of the sort without thinking about his music. And so this is just a hard time for a music lover like me. This is a hard time for a person who appreciates nostalgic moments and appreciates, what has become customary in a whole lot of households, and that's his songs. So I'm beyond myself. I'm beyond myself. I've been literally thinking about it all day. I just been thinking about like, you know, the next time I hear his music doesn't necessarily have to be a party now, because of course I had to get on my platform, my streaming platform, and pull him up. I ain't gonna say which one because they ain't paying me yet. Once they start paying me, I will say it. Uh, but like I had to get on the platform or whatever. So that was really hard for me. That was really hard. I felt like most of us who are experiencing this, um, you know, in this generation, I forget, are we millennials or are we X? I don't know, but in the generation we in, it's like we care, and we probably care more than our parents even think we care. But it's like to me, his songs then diffused arguments. I'm telling you, I done seen at least two aunties for the Nuck if you buck, and then his song came on and everybody started dancing. I know it can't just be me, okay? So all right, so but like so that's something that I'm just kind of dealing with today. You know, James Earl. Mook dealing with that yesterday. Y'all, I was in here like, what's happening? Our legendary voices and acts and people who trailblazed through Jim Crow times and other racist moments, and you know they were steps away from slavery, and they were able to get through that and display their talent and open doors for other black and brown people to do the same thing. And it's not that I can't accept, actually, I'm going to say it. I can't accept death. I can't accept that as a natural thing. I can't accept that we were born just so that we could end up and die. And so, even though I obviously witness the fact that people are here one day and gone tomorrow, and even though um, I've seen so much of that, and even though sometimes I've watched lives come to a conclusion that not necessarily I was thankful, but like it was some sort of relief there because they were suffering. Even though all of that, I still don't accept death as a full on fact. Like it's gonna happen as long as this current paradigm exists, the paradigm in which humans expire. But I believe that there's other paradigms. I believe that there is other um like universes, if you will, other places that were not tortured because of one person's sin. You know, the original sin, when I think about what the Bible teaches, the Christian Bible teaches, you know, the Garden of Eden and Eve and Adam, if you believe in that story, or if you don't, but you just know about it. I think about the fact that it just don't seem like our creator of something so beautiful is that petty. Okay? And, like I said, I try not to say things that are offensive or derogatory or, you know, blah, blah, blah. But I also, I also have a way to deliver my opinion, and I have a right to at some points of time. So if you're listening, please don't take offense to what I'm about to say. What I'm saying is just how I feel, and if you want to teach me something, teach me in the comments. If you want to tell me your point of view, tell me in the comments. If you want to DM me, because you may have something that I need to know. Okay. But what I was gonna say is, this whole story of creation, looking at it from a couple different points of view, because I grew up Baptist, but I also spent some time as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. And then now I'm not one of Jehovah's Witnesses, but I still hold on to everything I've learned throughout my years of studying the Bible, with or without Jehovah's Witnesses. And so I grew up Baptist. I grew up in a church. I grew up learning that there was heaven and hell. I grew up learning that the reason why we died was due to the original sin, which was, always referenced as Eve eating the apple from the tree of life. And as I began to get older, um, I asked questions in church. I definitely did. And I also asked questions, as I had mentors throughout my life, and then I asked a lot of questions during my time as a Jehovah's Witness because, to me, if you're going to be made to go teach and recruit and be a missionary, whatever you want to call it, you need to be sure. Um, and so some things where I wasn't sure about really, really revolved around that beginning time because that time is important to me. Uh, that time is that time is the time where all of this is basically based on. All of this sickness and pain and then death is basically based on. So, anyways, if we look at it from, I'll just pick one point of view, and that's the one that I said, that there was uh, sin in the Garden of Eden by means of Eve eating from the tree of life, though Adam was told not to. Um, Eve brought the apple, and she offered it to him, and they both ate. She had already eaten, of course, is what I was taught and what I read, and then she offered to him, and he ate. Okay, so after that, it is said that God or Jehovah called out to them from the Garden of Eden, and they were to report to him, and They were afraid to report because they had knowledge now that they were naked. There was shame now all of a sudden. Okay. And so of course they still had to go before Jehovah. And, that's where that's where I feel it's unfair a little bit. Because okay, if we continue on, they go before Jehovah. Jehovah, you know, obviously talks to them about what they have done. But he also issues the ramification, and that's that they are expelled from the Garden of Eden, and they are to go, go, be fruitful, go do all of that. But oh, by the way, you're eligible to die now. You know, and that's just me putting it in my own terms, of course. But when I think about that, I think about who did God really tell not to eat the apple? And that the answer is Adam. He told Adam. And so then, if Adam has had a wife that is made from his own ribs, okay, his own ribs, and this is the first woman he's ever seen, and the woman was made for him, from him, and for him, and he knows the law of the land is to do it all. You could do everything but eat from that tree. And then she comes and she has eaten and she's like, now you eat, because my eyes are open basically. Um, why why is why is her curiosity, even if the temptation only arose from the serpent or Satan, the devil, or whatever, why is her curiosity so powerful that we all had to experience death because of it? Why is the fact that she sought out knowledge so pivotal that now humans have to die? Those are the types of questions that I have asked myself through the years because what I want to know is why. When I think about wanting to know why, I think about all the times people ask me not to ask questions. People ask me not to speak up, or people not asked but made or intimidated, and did whatever they had to do to silence or make me feel as though I didn't have a ground to speak. That is the first indication of that in the world to me, if that story is true. Okay. The other part I want to make sure I keep on pointing out is that the Bible says that God told Adam not to eat of the tree of life. So then we got to consider, okay, was God's anger or wrath or justice reasonable if he did not directly tell Eve this, but only told Adam? And yes, I know, the husband and wife dynamic, da 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 da, husband is the head, shit, da da da. But technically, this is before that, before those structures had to be acknowledged and taught about. So why couldn't a second chance to not have to expire be given at that moment? Hey, Adam, I told you don't eat from this. Why didn't I tell you why? Oh, you told her she still did. She was curious. Okay, Eve, listen, this was a big deal. This is a really big deal. And now that both of y'all eyes are open, y'all are eligible for death. Okay? The only way, according to the Bible, for you and your descendants to have eligibility to live again in some other form is for there to be a perfect sacrifice. You guys are no longer perfect because you have sinned. Okay, and you have knowledge now. So there has to be someone else. Why couldn't Eve be the bearer? Why did it have to go on for some years before Jesus came to, according to the Bible, create a way for salvation. There's just so many things in there, and of course, like as a avid learner, I welcome these discussions. I'm not intimidated by being wrong, and I'm certainly not intimidated by being corrected or chastised. However way you respond to me, you could do that, but I still want to know why. And sometimes I already know why, but I want to know why from you because I know that every lesson I have ever learned, there's a reason for it. Okay? And I truly do believe in the design of the greater good. Okay? So that's one thing that, has hung tight to me. As far as like my religious upbringing is that I'm always looking to do the greater good, to answer to the call of the greater will. And so I do believe, I often use God because as I said, I grew up Baptist, da 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 da. So when I refer to God, I refer to Him predominantly in the way that is comfortable for me, which is the Christian way, Jehovah God. So using His name, if Jehovah God wanted, this man started snoring extra loud, son. If He wanted us to have life everlasting, from the beginning, which I believe that, it just don't seem right to me that a person's mistake who had not been directed by you would garner generations of death before there could even be eligibility sent to earth for salvation. Why? The God that I have come to know without the church house has so much more empathy, so much more compassion, so much more love. And from what I know about empathy, compassion, and love, and tolerance, which is not a bad word, by the way, and all of those things, those things are really just derivatives of what the Bible calls the fruitages of the Spirit. So you telling me this just God, this empathetic God, this loving God, this graceful God, is going to allow generations of His most precious creation to die with no eligibility of salvation, and the incentive source of salvation, but still allow people to die in the way that they do, still allow our loved ones to have to experience that type of pain and separation when our loved ones die. I just I feel like there's something deeper to understand about Christianity. I feel like there's something deeper to understand about God's presence in this world. And I'm not sure, I'm not sure about how the Bible outlines what happened. And so that's one of my, like, I could go on and on about the questions I have, about the discoveries I've made, about the intuitive messages that I've gained for myself. And I could really make this video 9,000 years long, but I'm not. All I got to say is rest in peace, Frankie. Rest in peace, James Earl. Rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan. There's gotta be something greater. Thank you for your contributions to the world as we know it. Thank you for paving the way for others to come behind you. I'm sorry that you met your fate of death in this system, but I promise I'm going to continue to seek truth and the knowledge so I can understand and have peace and be resolved that when I say that person has moved on to a better place, I actually mean it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not just saying it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. But right now, I'm brokenhearted. I'm brokenhearted because that's some good party music right there. Mufasa, Mufasa been in my heart since 1996 when it came out. Okay, like this. Anyways, not to be so long. You all have an enjoyable day wherever you are, whatever you do. Express some joy. Please share, like, comment, subscribe. Please talk to people about my videos. Please, please invite me to learn about you by commenting. And please have a great night, a great evening, a great morning, a great week, a great year. And until next time, this has been Joy, randomly.